Can real estate and technology get married?
Our real estate from a technology adoption point of view is just above agriculture, which is the bottommost.
The whole cold calling as a phenomena should actually be banned. Around 40% of spam calls that you end up getting, the customers end up getting, is contributed by the real estate fraternity.
I want the customers to be more open to technology.
No, I think we have to take a lot of hit for that as well, Deveshri.
100-floor building in Mumbai or in India. How soon?
On paper, you say 100 people are working. Actually, there are 70 people or 80 people on ground. So that leakage is called a ghost labor. So that has been taken care a lot by use of facial waste attendance, middle risk. There is a mandate that you need to actually do 1/3 of your building through 3D printing only. 20% or even less than 20% of the labor force which you need it.
The pre-sales companies are the largest brokers into their own company, where whoever is giving the mandate. There are companies which are driving STPs without power. अगर आपका 10 रुपए का per square feet का आ रहा है खर्चा, it can be brought down to 6 to 7 rupees.
Two important values. One is the convenience, other one is the transparency. Nobody is saying I want a lesser maintenance. Everybody is saying I want value for every single money that I'm paying.
The same kind of aggression that was there before you bought the home suddenly goes out of the picture. And somewhere I definitely see there's a great opportunity for the real estate developer into these experiences.
You know, I in fact often think that technology in real estate will become more massy if we have like an Elon Musk product or a Ashish Grover type person. My only interaction with the builder is him sending me a demand letter to make a payment.
When we are doing scanning, when customer complains, then we bring that person to scan. He identifies that there is a leakage here, and then we do the rework.
I'm there to lodge an issue. We are happy you are here. The first line is, I'm completely pissed off.
Your view on a rating of 1 to 10, where are we on cybersecurity?
We are in minus.
1, absolutely 1.
Okay, so basically you're the highest scorer so far before I come to the I was keen to know whether are you higher than Ashok or Ashok is the highest with 2?
Everybody is using competitors' data. Whose data it is? As he said, it's a minus.
Technology and real estate rarely go hand in hand. But can that change? Can real estate and technology get married? Can they at least fall in love? Or if not, can they date? Today, in the first episode of Unravel, we try to find that out with 5 of the smartest people in the technology space and real estate. Joining me is Ashish, Ashok, Deveshri, Vishesh and Govind. Ashish, I'll start with you.
Sure.
Why have technology and real estate not connected in your view?
My view is when it comes to technology and real estate people are not tech savvy. They are all our general customer who are your regular customers, like they want to buy something like retail or fresh marketing, fresh from markets, etc. So if there are general people who wants to buy their houses or dream houses, they doesn't understand what you are selling them. They understand what product is, they understand what carpet area is, they understand what view is. They wanted that thing which is physically visible. When it comes to technology, it's not physically visible for them. It's not touch and feel for them. Okay. So that is the case where they disconnect from the technology. So I believe there should be some connection between the customer with the technology where it gives them a physically look and feel of the technology. Then they will be able to adapt it.
Okay. Vishesh, before the session, you and me were having a chat on this similar topic. In your view, can real estate and technology get married? And if they can, what will it take? Who will do the Swayamvar?
Okay. So I have a very contrarian view about where technology stands in real estate, right? And in my opinion, real estate gets very excited about technology, which is like, Ashish pointed out, is look and feel. Where real estate has really missed out the bus is the enterprise tech, building the base, right? Look at the journey, what has happened in manufacturing, which is really the peak of, we consider that where the technology is evolved really high, the processes evolved very high, and it's delivering results. It's a 100-year journey, right? It started right back in, when Ford built that whole assembly line. And then technological elements started coming out. It was a constant innovation of processes and then bringing in technology which will digitize those processes, right? It has just not happened in real estate. That level of innovation has not happened in real estate.
Why is that?
And okay, yeah, the important question is that, like I said, like Ashish also mentioned, the touch and feel and the visualization of the technology, the benefits out of it has not seeped in yet with the real estate owners, the builder owners. And but that's also changing now because people can see that the baseline, people are talking of analytics and people are talking of AI and other things. People have started to realize that it is not possible without putting the fundamental building blocks. And that shift is happening now. But if you ask me why it has not happened in the last 20 years, 30 years, or hundreds of years we have been building houses, there is no incentive that people can realize because you cannot see anything in front of you.
Okay. Govind, incentives. Is there an incentive now to get technology in real estate?
So Vishal, my fundamental viewpoint differs a little bit. I believe one of the very basic foundation, if you have to look at it, real estate has been a total modus operandi where the family-run businesses have ran the businesses. Okay, so the corporate approach, the value chain around scalability, has never been there as the top priority. It's largely about at the end of the quarter, at the end of the half year, 1 year, what is the money that goes back to the kitty? That now is changing for sure because what is happening pan-India is a very much visible value chain that customers are responding to certainty. Wherever the brands are able to deliver quality and in time deliveries, people have understood will pay a 30-40% premium as well if needed. And be it the north, west, south, those examples are available. And that is now creating a little bit of a FOMO for everybody to now jump to the bandwagon and not miss the bus here, because one thing is for sure, the way the evolution of the real estate is now going to happen the next 10 years. It is nowhere, if you are not adapting for the scalability, you will never be able to extract the premium. The margins are only going to get thinner and thinner. The whole value chain about me operating into real estate actually goes off. So if you're not working towards solving for your top line and then bottom line both, it is not going to work in your favor.
So can we be in a world where the FOMO for real estate is as high as the FOMO of a buyer in NCR for buying houses? Do you think we can create that sort of a complete frenzy? Can that sort of excitement come?
Absolutely. So see, the thing is the demand after COVID has been pretty heavy. Now there was a place where you could say 2016 to 2020 was it was a slack. But now after that, 2020 onwards has been total new value chain that we are seeing. Whatever that you're seeing in NCR is just tip of the iceberg. The reality is that there's an issue around the supply, there's an issue around the quality supply, and that is actually going to be felt in all the places. People are now responding very differently to what they were doing before 2020. And this is a frenzy that you're seeing in NCR is totally, people say that, okay, where are the customers coming from? But the reality is they are there. So all these examples of high ticket size value chain projects getting sold off so fast, if you really look down in Bombay market, Bangalore market, Hyderabad market, the momentum is there. The only difference is in not only one or two people are able to consolidate. Here, that gets a little more fragmented.
In your view, technology can create that degree of FOMO in real estate, which is comparable to the frenzy in NCR?
So see, technology directly driving the FOMO, maybe it's too far-fetched a narrative to really talk about, but there are multiple layers which have to come together to make it more efficient, and then all these value chains that we are seeing will follow for sure.
Sorry, I just want to build up on one point which struck me while he was speaking, and to your question that why it was not the focus. See, real estate as a business was always localized business. So if somebody is operating in Bombay, they will operate in Bombay. They will possibly go to Pune. That will be the largest extent. Nobody was thinking about going pan-India, operating in multiple states. That has changed after 2020, right? And technology shows its best face when you operate at scale, right? And that is the reason why I believe that this whole scalability story will drive people to adopt technology much faster, what I call enterprise IT, much faster, because it will become virtually impossible for you to scale and, so to say, exist if you are not on that bandwagon any longer.
Okay, good point. Ashok, in your view, as somebody who has dealt with this for many years, both as a consumer user, where do you think has been the biggest success of technology in real estate?
Okay, so talking about technology part, see, let's first we have to understand if we are comparing infrastructure with manufacturing, at least infrastructure is lagging at least 10 years behind the manufacturing in terms of technology. And there are reasons for it, right? If you talk about manufacturing, you are doing everything in a very confined space where things are very formal, your worker, SOP, system process, very formal, right? Which is not the case in terms of a real estate or infrastructure, point number one. Secondly, if we talk about owners or promoters of this industry, right? So typically they have been very conservative, but this thing has been changing in last, you can say 8 to 10 years. Since the advent of Industry 4.0, whatever best practices have been adopted in manufacturing, slowly they are seeping in construction, which includes real estate. Let's start from basic things. Let's divide into probably 2 or 3 parts. Front end part, right? Earlier you used to need to visit a flat, right? If a customer wants to see the flat, you need to actually go there. But currently, with the advent of digital twins, automated AR, VR, you can have a virtual tour of a home sitting at your place. So you don't need to go there. You can operate the home. You can change the color of the home. You can have a look and feel sitting at in a cozy home. That's the first part. Second part, if we talk about construction, right? So there are major challenges in terms of, let's say there are n number of projects spread across the world. Visibility of project used to be a major challenge for a promoter or for CEO. Now, what people are doing, what technology is doing, so people have developed app to capture progress of projects. So let's say I'm working on particular site, I'm entering all the data regarding productivity, manpower, fuel consumption, energy consumption. Similarly for other projects also, quality, safety, and someone sitting at head office is able to monitor all 70, 80, 100 projects. Like in our case, we have got operations across the world. All the projects we are able to monitor at a touch of a button on one single screen. It's like the way you do in war room.
Okay.
Secondly, if we talk about labor part, labor is a major challenge, right? If we talk about this thing. So availability of labor, ghost labor, right? Ghost labor is to be a major challenge in construction industry. That has
What is ghost labor?
when you say ghost labor, we mean to say, let's say on paper you say 100 people are working. Actually, there are 70 people or 80 people on ground. So that leakage is called a ghost labor, right? So 30 labors you are considered ghost labor. So that has been changed, that has been taken care a lot by use of facial based attendance, right? So you click a mobile, every worker has been allocated one geofence. Unless that person enters that geofence and another person clicks his photographs, his attendance will not be taken. So that good old days, someone has taken attendance at some place, is not turning up, that has been taken care of. Monitoring of equipment, you do understand infrastructure or real estate is a high capex industry, right? Lot of equipment, dozer, dumper, excavator, cranes, n number of things. It was very difficult for you to monitor those kind of equipment. But with the advent of technology, the way you track your Ola and Uber cars, you can have live view of all your equipment. Not only live view of equipment, which equipment is working, which equipment is not working, right? You put productivity sensor, you are able to monitor the actual amount of work which is being done by through that particular equipment. There are fuel sensors, right? Through fuel sensor, any case of fuel pilferage, within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you are getting WhatsApp message. So all those leakages you are able to clip together. Drones are being used extensively in construction segment.
Okay, I think all those parts I'll come to when we are talking specific construction. Deveshri, the same question that I asked him. Where do you think we have seen the maximum benefit of technology in real estate? There's a wide layer in the real estate process, from land acquisition till maybe handover and post handover also. Where do you think we've seen the most degree of progress in your view?
I think I've seen little bit of the progress at the both extreme ends. Everything in between is still WIP. Extreme ends when I say right from the land acquisition for a developer or for an end user from a buying experience. So because of all the portals and data and analytics that is available, some bit of support is definitely there from the technology enablement. Now on the later end, as a customer, when I'm taking the ownership of the apartment, when I'm taking the possession. After that, the whole management of the communities and common area maintenance, etc. In that bit, we see a lot of mobile applications and all of that coming in, wherein the communities are getting formed and they are able to exchange notes, they are able to track progress of certain things. Those are the only two areas wherein I'm seeing some progress. Rest everything in between, while there are a lot of solutions available like AR, VR for virtual tours and all the drone-based construction monitoring, etc. Still, we have a lot of work to do there.
Where do you think in land acquisition, what would you say is the one standout feature that has made land acquisition, the process easier, faster in your view? Is there anything? Often land acquisition is the most complex thing, not just in India but in most countries. Yeah. Companies take 8 years to get the land and 3 years to build. So land acquisition is the main challenge. In any particular disruption that you're seeing there with technology?
So like I said, there are 3 stages there. Earlier, those decisions were made based on your experiences and gut feelings. Now, it is supported with a lot of data, lot of analytics, lot of research is being made available. So your decision is more data-driven than your guts. What possibly next can happen, and for that the whole community needs to come together on a platform, is like the whole transparency-oriented ecosystem, wherein you are having the data, but you also know whether it is an authentic data or not. For example, imagine the whole blockchain setup wherein right from the buyer to seller to litigations or whatever, policies, everything is on board. Everybody is having a consistent view to the entire information, better transparency, and hence the enablement of the process becomes much, much better. It will reduce the lead time also.
Okay, away from land acquisition, Govind, I basically remember you told me in one of your podcasts that real estate dominates the market share when it comes to spam calls. I'm moving to pre-sales. Okay?
That's right.
That's quite a shift.
Away from land acquisition to pre-sales. And pre-sales is actually where the customer harassment often begins.
Okay.
Which is the reason most of the times I can keep the phone away and I don't need to worry because the calls I won't pick up, the SMS I won't open. When will I stop getting those goddamn spam calls and messages?
So I'll tell you, one of the places where I really believe that in a very quick time we can make a larger change is this particular space. I believe the whole cold calling as a phenomena should actually be banned, right? Because what happens, it's a very interesting insight that I realize. At the end of the day, when we are doing a marketing of any residential project, let's take it, there's a thumb rule that, okay, for a 100 crore top line, if you have to sell, or 100 rupee inventory you have to sell, you have to spend 2 rupees in marketing. On the higher side of it. Calling onto the certain cold calls, and if you end up getting some data from somewhere, now that's another problem, the data leakage, right? What happens is, most of the brokers, a lot of developers as well, who are not trying to be on the other side, we're trying to garner the intent of the customer. Instead of that, they're actually doing this cold calling. So we as an industry, based on our conversation with Truecaller team and everybody, around 40% of spam calls that you end up getting, the customers end up getting, is contributed by us, the real estate fraternity, right? So, should it change? Absolutely yes. And we have to fast move forward to a place where we are not intrusive to the customers. There will be a lot of receptive behavior that we'll be seeing. In this journey, what happens, a lot of people with the right intent also, we end up losing them. And that's never helpful for anybody. But then, the distribution networks are also, it's not just developers, right? The distribution networks are controlled by the brokers. They may not be the best guys, they have to optimize for their cost. And at that point of time, they will continue leveraging these mediums. There was a point when TRI came in and they put some mandate for SMS, right? So that has actually reduced. And WhatsApp has some limitation as well. It is much drastically reduced than what it used to be before, because now you have to go towards a certain protocol to make those messages delivered, right?
So basically the journey to harassment has changed, just become larger.
A little bit. But on the calling side, there is nothing much that is there. But yeah, this is a huge menace. if we can all work towards making sure that it gets actually banned, that would really change the way the customers.
Now, try introduce very stringent guidelines last month also. Almost 3 lakh connections were disconnected. 50 entities licenses were revoked.
But then the thing is simple. People have the maneuvering around it, and
No,
So basically, the point is that where there is a will to harass, there is a way to harass.
Number of calls has come down for the simple reason. I think even builders have got targeted data of clients, right? So let's say if I cannot afford a 2 crore call, I will not be getting a calls. So that way, number of calls have reduced because you do understand there are data leakages point. So even builders are able to have a profile of individual customer, right? Based on that, they are calling.
Okay, आपने data leakages के ऊपर you spoke on this. First, I'll come to Ashish and to you. Ashish, he sounds optimistic, but he also says that things have improved. I haven't felt it, but maybe I'm an exception. Okay, when will people like me be able to pick up calls from unknown numbers again?
It's a difficult question to answer, but still I believe there should be a technology involvement to identify right customer to call. As of now, there is no such technology has or tool or a software has come which will profile the customer that this is the right profile customer. Because when it comes to lead generation, marketing agencies give us a lack of leads. It's more than lack sometimes. But are those qualified leads? How to qualify those leads? That is missing, and that probably from the technology point of view, we need to resolve that problem. Once we reach at least 20% of that particular problem, then we will have a tremendous reduction in the spam calls. As of now, it's a cold calling everywhere.
Ashok, just taking off from this. Spam calls, I think he's clearly pessimistic. So anyway, my phone will be kept aloof that way. Data leakages, that is rampant.
Right.
Is there a way around it?
I think data leakage is going to continue. I mean, there are n number of regulations coming in, and government is going tough, right? So they are punishing it, they are banning. So that is going to help to an extent. But at the end of the day, it all depends the call individual company takes, right? So the way you procure data, the way you get data, that is left up to those companies. I think beyond a point, even government rules, government regulations cannot bring data leakage. From company point of view, I'm talking mainly about B2B part, you can secure your company, you can reduce the exposure of your company, but as far as data leakage of individuals are concerned, I think that is going to be continue. Of course, extent is going to reduce, and it is reducing also with more like the number of campaigns government is running. People are getting more sort of aware. They are not visiting different sites. They are not visiting spam. So that way it is reducing, but it is a reality, and you have to tackle it.
Deveshri, a thought on this? Which side are you on? Are you pessimistic, optimistic, realistic? What is it?
On this, I think it's a vicious cycle. It is never going to end.
So pessimistic.
Pessimistic. I love the question, by the way.
Vishesh.
Regulations can only help that much. So from that perspective, the DPDP Act has also come into the play, which puts a huge onus on the real estate players as a data fiduciary. We have to devise systems and take steps to prevent data leakages from our own systems as well as within our ecosystem also. Within Prestige, I can take my example definitely. We have defined a program to prevent data leakages which has been running for last 1 year. And we have plugged most, I cannot say all because there will be a loophole. Like you said, if there is an intent, people will find a way. But we have ensured that within the organization, nobody has a visibility of a customer data. All the loopholes have been plugged. We have defined a very clear policy on consent management, which is well published in our documents and in our annual reports and everywhere as well. And we have made that commitment to the customers, right? And from a side, we have invested in cybersecurity on top of that to ensure that there are all the leakage points. So it will be a journey, and I have a program which will continue for next 6 more months for that. And but securing customer data to give customer that confidence that they are with the right person, one of the big steps in building that positive mindset. And also knowing more about the customer is one of the big steps in stopping that spam call. Because if I am getting, let's say, 1 lakh leads in a year, I need to sell only 10,000 flats I am in control. I'll build models, and which is the direction that we are taking. We'll build models to know that who are the 10,000 targeted people I need to reach out to. Then it's not a spam call. Then it's a engagement to a transaction to sell or buy a flat. As simple as that.
Okay. Away from spam, in the pre-sales journey, what do you think has been the biggest technology boost in the entire spectrum that has, in a way, changed the way real estate is done at the pre-sales level? Any of y'all?
From a pre-sales side, I think...
which means marketing, advertising, which from entire spectrum that is there, that getting the person into that, maybe the website or that sales office.
I think one of the biggest fundamental shifts has been the personalization of the marketing campaigns after understanding the needs of the customers. That's something that we have very, very in a focused manner started investing in about a year and a half back. We, at this point in time, we very clearly understand that if a customer has reached out to us, at what point are they bound to lose interest, track their journey properly, give them assurance that we are not going to sell their data or bombard them with spam data like we said, and do it in a very personalized manner, which gives them confidence, okay, somebody is really looking after my interest rather than somebody's trying to push their inventory. I think from a pre-sales perspective, getting that personalization in place is the biggest technological change that I have seen in last some time.
I will add on to this. We were talking about the pre-sales part of the narrative. One of the important part that actually we were talking data leakage before. The pre-sales is the largest example where the data leakage happens at the maximum scale level into the real estate industry today. So a lot of developers, somewhere they know, somewhere they don't know. The pre-sales companies are the largest brokers into their own company, where whoever is giving the mandate. Okay, that's a leakage source number one, right? And that is something which is in control of all the fraternity. Wherever the companies are making steps to formalize the technology, make sure that everything is properly stitched, their customers are going to have a different experience. Vis-a-vis, a customer is engaging with a developer who's not bothered about these things. He's just bothered about getting the call done and getting the sales done. He's not bothered about the experience part of it. The data is getting leaked to the pre-sales level, on the site visit level, and there are multiple places where from the fraternity itself loses the data. The same data, the same customers you're trying to invest upon for the marketing, spending crores, but then you're not bothered what happens after, right? And to top of what he said, and what he, Ashish also was mentioning a while back, I believe we are not that far from that particular place where he said that, okay, can there be a value chain where the qualification can happen, where we really know the right intent is there. And he's right, lakhs of leads are getting generated, we generate it. But the idea is we face out of 100 leads, 20 or 30 leads are going to be worthy, right? And we believe with the help of NLP, the whole AI models around the conversations, where the first call goes in voice like mine, yours, where the customer really engages, and the basic qualification criteria that you inquired for the home, you clicked on the ad, you're looking for this location, you're asking for this price. This basic 3-4 criteria can be leveraged for the qualification. And I don't see that there are the multiple technologies which have come in now. We ourselves are piloting a few. By Jan-Feb, we will be actually integrating this, and the pre-sales qualification gets sorted. So that's the largest technology intervention we believe that in pre-sales that we will be able to see. Apart from the second layer, which is if in case the sales guys are calling or pre-sales manual conversations are happening, now the audio scanning of the conversations on the sentiment analysis, right? That also can happen, which will give you an understanding whether the conversation went into the right direction, the guy made the right conversation, my own guy on the pre-sales side or sales side is pitching it right or not. You can actually find the deviation. And the second part, the customer tonality will also give you an idea whether he's a hot customer, he's a warm customer. And on that basis, the ratings can be managed on the lead level. And the team can then make a decision that, okay, with whatever team size they have, which calls to prioritize, which customers to give different importance.
So basically, just through the conversation, the way the person is speaking, you can gauge the sentiment and tonality that is.
So the AI models are evolving, and they're already being leveraged by other industry now, right? So it's just about us adopting it to the real estate use case. I believe 3 to 4 months we'll give you the demo, and it is already live. It's just pilots are happening, and have a look at it by Jan. And I'm pretty sure That disruption will be something, if adopted right, will see a lot of cost optimization. At the same time, the efficiency. You don't need 100 guys, you may do the same job with 60 guys.
Okay.
I'll just add to it. So we have
He
already
mentioned leakages because I basically think that customer data is shared like how people buy and sell groceries. You know?
No. So
It's
already
completely-
mentioned
it's
that for
no,
internal, it's
Prestige
already
maybe is
been-
maybe different. I'm saying at a broader industry level, it's completely chaotic.
But I believe now it has been changed. The internal data security is already been managed with the various tools or data security softwares that we are already managing. So we are making sure that data is not going out of the organization at any given point of time. Even if you are sharing the data with your probably call centers, etc., we are making sure there is no personalized data has been shared. It's always so mobile number, email address, nothing has been shared. It's always masked. So we are using click-to-call technologies for that. So they don't need that phone number or emails that we are using. So we are making sure data is not leaked. From what he's just said, it's a journey which we create in the system. That also for sales and pre-sales, we create that journey. So data qualification and that journey will help customer to adopt the technology more. As of now, that journey is not settled. It's in a progressive way. It's there.
Okay. Ashok.
So talking about pre-sales, I think two things which has come out very clearly. See earlier, let's say if you are visiting Amazon or Flipkart, right? So the kind of product you choose, the kind of product you open up, based on that, they try to gauge your psychographic assessment, right? And immediately you'll get some sort of calls, some sort of advertisement. I think similar thing is happening in real estate also. Let's say you hit a website of any real estate company. The kind of project you are looking at, depending on your clicks. So they are able to continuously monitor all those data, basis that what kind of requirement is there, which kind of project people are looking more. So those kind of things, actually it is giving you a lot of insight, where to focus, where to defocus, where to put effort. That is point number one. Point number two, earlier calling a customer care, right, and getting some basic information about the project, that used to be a big project in itself because you are on hold for quite some time. With the advent of bots, right, so 24/7, whenever you want to get at least basic level information, I will not say it is customized to a great extent, it has been personalized, but at least basic level information if you want to get about particular project, bots are there. So two things, at least in last couple of years, it has actually come big in pre-sales part.
Deveshri, regarding the bots, I have a very interesting story. I think about 3 or 4 months back, for every week I used to get one call at about 10:15 in the night. I used to think it's a friend calling for some help and this and that, and it was some goddamn guy saying 2 BHK aapko chahiye. So Deveshri.
I really want to empathize the customers here. Because I'm just thinking,
Finally.
just imagine the 100 calls that we make with the hope of 20% conversion. Imagine the 80 that who had to suffer those calls. And even for the 20%, imagine the number of calls they went through before making the final decision. I see a huge business potential here. I think we should have a crash courses for the new buyers. Because there is a problem of plenty. If I want to buy a home, there are so many options, there are so many ways, there are so many marketing campaigns. What all I need to go through? I mean, I need everything to be channelized for me, brought into a smaller bucket, which is relevant to my requirement, and then face it, rather than going through all of it.
Okay. Fair point. Ashok, before the session, we were talking about construction.
Right.
About 100 years back, there was the famous Empire State Building that was built in 13 months. It's about 100 years past, and all the tallest buildings, at least India has tried, have gone 10 years plus, be it Palais Royal or Minerva. Is there some technology that can happen which can make construction faster, cheaper, more efficient?
So I think a lot of tools and technologies are coming. If you say in last 10 years or so, in terms of mechanization. So if you talk about in our company also, so we have created one complete department itself, which is focusing on mechanization part. When I say mechanization, how it can reduce the effort, how you can expedite the work, right? It's all about slab cycle. Last 10, 12 years, a lot of new tools, new technology has come up, which can actually reduce. I will give us an example. Let's say, at the cost of sounding slightly technical. So there is a machine called automatic bending cutting machine, right? So earlier for that kind of work in one of our projects we used to deploy almost 250 people. Now that 250 people, that has come down to 13. The work which was done by 250, now 13. Obviously, it's a capex heavy, but it will come off. So that is the kind of thing I am talking about. Similarly, in last couple of years, if you heard about something called lean manufacturing. Lean used to be something normally linked with manufacturing only, but those principles are slowly coming to manufacturing in construction also. In fact, there is a lean construction institute also headed by someone from IIT Chennai. There is a big, so lean principle, advent of mechanization, new tools, plus as I discussed about the app part, the way you progress your projects, we are getting progress data almost on real-time basis, right? So immediately you are able to resolve the problem. You are able to track your manpower. You are able to track your equipments. So that is possible.
So Ashok, then 100-floor building in Mumbai or in India, how soon?
So couple of years, probably 8 years, 10 years possible. But at this point of time, see, we are talking about digital printing part, right? So 3D printing part. So 3D printing is coming big time. Thing is that at this point of time, commercials are not stacked up very heavy in front of in terms of 3D printing. The reason being there are not too many players at this point of time. A, B, acceptability from the industry also needs to be there. So lots of challenge in terms of acceptance of client, some technical bit also. Plus we need the kind of equipments that capex will be very heavy initially. That is why it is not. But if we talk about Middle East, so there are, I was hearing in some of the countries, there is a mandate that you need to actually do 1/3 of your building through 3D printing only. The reason being, it's very fast and it requires almost 20% or even less than 20% of the labor force which you need it. Because talking about Middle East, labor force is a major challenge, getting labor force. So 3D printing is there. In India also,
what's the cost difference if somebody wants to do conventional versus 3D?
So I think at this point of time it is prohibitive. At this point of time it is prohibitive, at least in India, because there are not too many players in India. There are a couple of startups which has come up in last 6 to 7 years. But at a small level, one guest house, if you go to IIT Chennai, one guest house, one big office, they have printed it, and director house is also coming through the 3D. So it's coming up. But at this point of time, probably you can 3D print couple of floors, 4 floors, 5 floors. Beyond that, at this point out, it's very difficult.
But the journey has begun.
Journey has begun.
But is it to do with the labor intensive business that we are in, or the people who are available? Because of that, the cost is optimized on the construction more. That's the reason we are not able to make the shift?
So 3D printing, first of all, it's a very high capex one. So basically you are printing everything.
Yeah, of course.
So it is a very high capex. That is the only thing which is...
But how the other countries are able to adapt because of the labor force difference of our cost getting
because the labor force is much more costly
there.
Much more costly.
Of course.
I think Vishesh, you had an example on this. Right?
Yeah, so we recently did a 3D print of a villa, because we have villa projects as well, and we experimented with one of the villas in the project, and our observations were on the similar lines. We are still trying to understand what's the net benefit versus net loss and all those kind of things. But like he said, so it's the labor requirements go drastically down, right? But then it shifts in part also because you have to set up the whole paraphernalia, and it's a huge setup. It's like a big printer nozzle moving across, and then you are printing over there. So those kind of challenges do exist.
What's the broad cost benefit so far you've...
No, so we are still going through that. We could, in some areas, for example, from a labor perspective, we could see 50% differential, right? But from an overall costing perspective, we are still trying to understand that what does it mean? Can we take it large scale? Because if we can, then it's a no-brainer.
But best part is the kind of flexibility it provides in terms of design. Whatever design you want, you can print it.
Yes.
So there is absolutely no constraint in terms of the kind of design, which is a big challenge if you are going for a conventional construction process.
So basically, then the typical structures that we see, the skyline can look very different.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Vishal, since you asked about the 100-story building, I think 3D printing may not be suitable for that today, but for smaller houses, definitely yes. And think of the scenarios like when you have, larger mines to establish, large infrastructures like ports or some, aerodromes or things like that to build overnight. So it's not that infrastructure, but imagine the whole workforce which is going to work on it. They need to live nearby. So all those townships you need to bring up overnight. And in that case, 3D printing is the best solution, as I say.
So talking about COVID like this,
Yeah,
let's say
correct.
for COVID, immediately on the go you want to create some structure for hospital or some building. So it can be done within weeks of time.
So basically, temporary cities or maybe permanent cities can be built in a short time with this technology.
Correct. Correct.
Ashish, we spoke about buildings going tall.
Yes.
In construction. The other common problem for a buyer is that invariably he's disappointed once the construction is done, and there are leakage issues. Okay? And this is, I think, unfortunately not a Bombay problem. This is an India and maybe global problem
Correct.
to a certain extent.
yeah.
Can technology solve the problem?
Yes.
मेरे घर में leakage कब नहीं होगा?
कब नहीं होगा? See, there are technologies available who does the scanning also, and that scanning can be done at the quality level. When we do the construction at when the floor goes above, you can do that scanning when your finishes are coming. That scanning is available in the market. When we are doing scanning, when customer complains, then we bring that person to scan. He identifies that there is a leakage here, and then we do the rework. Why can't we do that ahead of the time? That can be done when the quality. What is your quality? Let quality people enabled with this kind of scanning technology so that they can remove these leakages at the time of building itself, rather than doing at the end.
So preventing rather than curing.
Yeah, technology is there, but we are doing it afterwards. We are not doing it.
So do you think that's more a barrier in terms of cost or in terms of mindset?
It's a mindset. It's a process. We have to just enable that process. As of now, we are concentrated on building the high-rise buildings, but not focusing on the quality.
So basically, technology in real estate, then the way I hear it is that the biggest barrier isn't the technology. It's the adoption and the mindset.
Right.
Vishesh, ये कब बदलेगा?
So, see, let's pick up the leakage example only. So, in my opinion, the problem is a more fundamental in nature, not taking away that we don't need such kind of technologies. But let's say I bring this technology and we find that there are leakages at 10 places. वो input कैसे जाएगा आज? It still goes on pen and paper, right? And then that pen or paper is lost. They are probably referring to a n-10 version of a drawing, and things go bad, and nobody has any clue कि करना क्या है. In my opinion, this will only work if you do digitization at a very fundamental level in construction, right? And I am talking of concepts like BIM, Building Information Management, those kind of concepts, which deal with construction in a more holistic manner, right? And give you a more broader view about how to consume any external input which is coming about and how to quicken your decision making about this also. If you mechanize the quality control process and the system is automating the task assignment and other things also, then I can see that this will work. But as long as there is a technology which is doing it and there is no technology to consume it, it's going to be the same story, possibly 10-20% better, but not much of a differential.
So unless it's not integrated, it won't work.
It will not work.
Govind, quick answer on this before I go to Deveshri.
So I believe Vishesh covered most of the points that was to be addressed. There are series of ecosystems. Again, here the problem lies, one thing that I could add is the data silos of the whole process, where the design part of it linked to the construction journey part of it and to the quality check journey part of it. Till the time all these ecosystems are going to be operating with different operative teams and softwares, we are not going to see a synergy, and that would mean that there will be leakages on the very fundamental level again on the basis of what we spoke. The design was this, what was getting built is a little different, and that's where everything happens at the level of the post position, and everything comes to the forefront only at that point of time. if the companies are going to be much more clear about the foundational technology that they're using, which would mean every piece of the information and the journey of the each and every unit is being mapped digitally, and digital twins comes in largely handy there. A lot many developers and lot many infrastructure projects today or airports are being leveraged in the similar manner. Of course, the cost that goes here is higher, but then again, against the negative that on the project level, if it goes wrong, against that, these investments definitely reap much larger results.
I just want to add a couple of points. See, adoption of fundamental technology, setting the right baseline in technology. I don't think real estate is still giving enough weightage, how serious the problem is. We are talking of, concepts like AI and, we'll do RPA. I'm sure people who are doing RPA, they will know कि वो सिर्फ एक system में ही हो सकता है, because that's the only silo which is existing over there. If you try to cut across, you will suddenly realize that this is broken, right? So, and I just had an interesting tidbit. I was going through a report from McKinsey, said that our real estate from a technology adoption point of view is just above agriculture, which is the bottommost, okay? So agriculture, animal husbandry, those kind of fields are at the bottommost, and real estate is just above that. And that attitude needs to change, in my opinion. And that requires us to think more about setting up the fundamental structures first, and then building on top of that and building the whole chain together, breaking down these data silos that he's talking about.
So basically the walls have to be broken to
It has
create
to
a
be.
new
It has to be.
Okay, so Deveshri, the entire session so far, right from the initial land acquisition to pre-sales to the construction, the one big gap that's coming across is that lack of integration, to know that the entire process moves seamlessly when an issue is highlighted to it being addressed. Should we be optimistic that the world will change in this regard?
It will change for sure, Vishal. In fact, you said it. What is missing is integration. Now that we know the problem, we can definitely solve it. Problem so far was we were not admitting to this problem. It's not that we are not doing these things, okay? Now the whole quality things that we are talking about, so there are different levels of quality checks that are happening at the design level. Construction has got QC processes. After construction also, there is a whole snagging process that is available, and then customer doing the testing on their own. What is missing is the collaboration. Multiple people having consistent view to the quality checks, multiple people doing these quality checks together will save a lot of time and effort.
Good point. Away from construction to post-sales. So the common view among 99 out of 100 home buyers, if I ask them, what is the experience after you book a home till you get the home, if you get the home, is that my only interaction with the builder is him sending me a demand letter to make a payment.
And I'm with them on this. And
वो experience कुछ बदलेगा, वो experience कुछ बदलेगा.
बदलना चाहिए और ज़रूर बदलेगा. Why I'm with them is because largely I believe in this fact that we are doing a lot of things when it comes to construction, etc. We are not passing it on to the customers. So I agree to the fact that except for the demand letters, they hardly have a view to a lot of things. But see, in this panel only we heard that there are so many technologies which are doing the real-time construction monitoring, etc. Which customer doesn't want to know the real-time update of the progress of their home? Today they are having to go to the site to check that. Any single query that they have, trust me, after the sales process is over, for every query of mine, it's the whole developer team versus me. If I have to ask something, I don't know whom to go to for any queries. Customer may have so many things like minor changes, like some changes that they are expecting during the construction process, which could be very minor in nature, they need not be very big design changes or whatever, but they again do not have any platform to go to. So I think this whole piece, a simple technology platform, which apart from the demand letters and everything, can give them real-time progress view of their apartment. It could be images, videos, or 3D models, or whatever it is. It can also be for the, there could be simple AI-assisted chats wherein they can raise their queries, they can be addressed in time. There could be some portals wherein they can get in touch with somebody and share their design change request, etc. And most importantly, we believe in community management only after the possession of the apartment. Who is stopping us from giving them a community on tech platform wherein they are getting to know that what kind of a ecosystem they have signed up for? What kind of a people they are going to live with. Imagine the experience they will have when they actually come to the ecosystem will be very different.
So, I obviously have a theory on this. Probably I'm wrong or probably I'm harsh. That a developer does not want his buyers to be united.
Correct. Exactly.
Because he wants to divide and rule to the buyer. Because if all of them come together, then suddenly the guys will feel, my complaint is the same like his. Here everybody thinks that my complaint is an isolated complaint. So I think developers that we have, they're following the British policy, divide and rule, and let's see what we got. Ashok, we were talking before this, you said a lot of things that happen during construction monitoring. Can these things really make it, can they be used to really connect with the buyer after he's booked the home?
So I'll tell you the same thing. I will give an example. I will not take the name. I have actually booked a house in Pune, right? So that real estate agent, he has developed an app. So what I can do on regular basis, whatever development is there in terms of progress, probably on weekly basis or fortnightly basis, he is putting pictures, multiple pictures, right? So I am not waiting for demand letter, wherewith along with the demand letter I will get a couple of pictures, what is the progress on my building. I can log in into that particular app, I can check that. There is a chat bot. In case I have any query regarding payment, other issues, I need to make some changes here and there. I can go on that particular app and I can have, so those kind of things are slowly coming. Probably the bigger players will start first and then probably it will slightly seep into the smaller players. But I think that awareness is coming, and best part is it doesn't cost you much also. It's just a mindset. I mean, creating an app and managing an app, it's not a big thing, right? When you are, so that part is like coming. You were talking about earlier about seepage part, right? So how to take about the seepage. So I mean, seepage part controlling it's not a rocket science. It's a basic quality part. So how people are actually controlling those kind of things, I'll tell you. Earlier what used to happen, let's say some quality is going on site. So he need to carry a big drawing or a document to check everything. Now what is happening? People have developed apps. In fact, we have also developed apps where quality person goes, he got a request for inspection. He opens that app. On app itself, there will be multi-point. He will do inspection over there and he will submit it. We are talking about someone referring to the old drawings. In the app itself, we have developed a engineering document management system. So every drawing has got one QR code. So let's say I'm a quality person or construction person. If I want to refer particular drawing, I will just scan to the drawing. It will take me to the latest version of drawing. If you are doing an older version, it will tell, no, it's an older version, you refer to this part. So that way you are able to reduce the rework and those kind of things.
Fair point. Now let's assume a house is given to the buyer after construction. The first big blow to the buyer today comes, one is after paying the amount, the last installment is the maintenance amount very soon. Can technology bring down maintenance levels to rock bottom levels or make it zero? I basically heard of a case in Pune of a player called Magarpatta where maintenance is zero. Can we move to a world where maintenance bills are zero?
I want to take that. I have two parts answer to this, okay? Can the cost come down? Probably yes. So let's look at the standard conventional bouquet of services that comes under maintenance, okay? So maintenance of your lift, security guards, and maintenance of the gardens, DGs, STPs, etc. Only that portion, if you put in a lot of technology, like you can optimize resources, you can leverage some robotics, you can have some smart meters to reduce your consumption of water, electricity, and save something there. Definitely with a lot of technology enablement, the cost can come down. It won't go to zero because somebody's got to pay for the technology as well. But the part two is whether the customer is really looking for cost reduction alone. Okay, and for that, I have an example. In fact, we talked about it earlier. The greatest digital transformation that technology industry has brought to the mankind is the whole service industry shift. You know, the model changed from customer going to the services versus services coming to customers. Be it cab to beauty to, food to everything. Has the customer started paying lesser? Answer is no. In fact, they are paying slightly more. Because what this entire ecosystem is bringing for the customer is two important values. One is the convenience, other one is the transparency. These are exact two things that are missing in the maintenance. Nobody is saying I want a lesser maintenance. Everybody is saying I want value for every single money that I'm paying. Lot of things that we do under the maintenance umbrella, lot of things are not known to the customer only. They don't know how many times my, DG got a diesel, or how many times my STP is managed, or how many times my, lift is managed. Right now, that visibility is missing. So they need to be told about it. Secondly, we need to move out of this conventional CAM and look at other things that the customer needs. Today, after buying the house, there are 100 other things that the customer needs. But then they're having to go to literally tons of applications to, avail those services. What if all of this is like already curated, already, aligned based on customer needs, and everything is coming from a single channel? It will ease their day-to-day life, and they wouldn't they wouldn't mind paying for tech. In fact, one important thing I just wanted to touch upon is the whole sustainability bit. See, everybody wants to contribute to it, but hand on heart, many of us don't know how. We all talk about it, but if we really want to pen it down, very few will be able to do that. So with whatever regulations that we have with STP, we have covered some ground around water, but we still have radiations, air and green and many others to cover, right? So a lot of technology innovations, Vishal, are happening actually. There are a lot of solutions available in the market which we can introduce to the customer, and we can give them sustainable living too.
So basically, instead of asking for maintenance bills to get lower, just provide more bang for the buck. Value for money दिखना चाहिए वो resident के लिए. Govind, there's an audience for that. There's a big audience also for people who want maintenance bills to be lower, and the proof of that is in how fast many buildings collapse in terms of quality because it's not being maintained.
Sure.
Can we move to a world where maintenance bills are 2 rupees per square feet? If so, how?
So I'll tell you, based on my conversation with a few startups that I have been part of, quoting them before that, let me tell you a personal example of mine. My dad lives in Ahmedabad, and I've just got him a home nearby my home so that he can shift to Bombay. The first thing that he called me for is, he said, and he lives in a bungalow, right? And he says that currently, after living in this society, I pay 3,000 rupees only as my monthly bill to the society as a maintenance. Are you serious that the new home that we have just bought is going to cost me 23,000 rupees per month as a maintenance? Are you kidding me? What have you got me into? Right? Because it's coming from Ahmedabad. Now, the thing is, we are getting into a world where we are going for a vertical structure homes. The maintenance there is going to be a larger value chain as well. But based on my conversation with many people working in sustainability domains, largely STPs, right? STP needs power. There are companies which are driving STPs without power. So there's a company that we know, we may just meet them today. Then the second part, same with the air part of it. The same part, there are multiple companies which are coming together who are promising, अगर आपका 10 रुपए का per square feet का आ रहा है खर्चा, it can be brought down to 6 to 7 rupees. Then we had a debate with a series of developers in Bangalore along with that particular ecosystem of mine. And what I learned is there's a developer who's trying to work towards a phenomena called green fee. Because the cost of adoption of sustainability is high, right? Just the way we talked about the 3D prefabs, right? In the similar manner, the cost of sustainability, if it's increasing, whom do we pass it on to? So can there be a world where a value chain and they were discussing with us from the marketing point of view of this value chain, that okay, there's a value chain around green fee, which is created at the time of the purchase itself, that is taken from the customer, against a value chain where they know that for the lifetime out there, so in this particular home, their maintenance charges are going to be 30-40% lesser. And if we are able to drive to that ecosystem, Bangalore definitely has a lot of audience which is ready to pay a premium to these kind of phenomena where my home is sustainability-wise, value chain-wise better. At the same time, I know that at the end of the day, the money that I pay as a premium today, it will be getting recovered in form of my maintenance cost.
So basically, Bangalore is clearly leading the way in this. Yes. Same question to you. Can maintenance bills really come down?
It can down. So ultimately, you need to do a couple of things. Firstly, let's say when you are in construction phase itself, you can have a long-term contract, O&M contracts with your service provider, for example, lift, right? Similarly, when you're at the design phase itself, you can plan for solar panels across wherever you have space. You can plan for solar panels. You talked about STP part, right? So there is a good scope for reusing STP water, not for drinking purpose, for other purpose. It cuts down your electricity bills. There are IoT sensors which controls your power lights across your building, sitting on one particular panel itself. So let's say its light is enough, right? Still your lights are on. You can control it. Motion sensor lights are there. So there are n number of ways, including solar, STP, rainwater harvesting.
How much can that bring down maintenance bills according to you?
30-40% definitely it can bring, depending on the kind of space you have, the kind of provision you have. Plus, if you are using solar, you are also contributing to sustainability part. If you are using water, you are again using to circular economy. So it's going to contribute both to sustainability part plus cut down the. But you need to plan. You need to plan.
So ultimately, I feel nothing is free. So you need to pay some cost, and maintenance bill will come. But as panel said, there are a lot of things which we can do to reduce that. And when we are saying free to the probably customer who is using it, it must be costing to some other entity, but it will cost.
Okay. So basically, as Vishesh, on this point, you actually had a thought. I remember before the chat we were having on facilities management.
Yeah. So see, in my view, my view doesn't differ much from his, right? So today in the system itself, there are enough inefficiencies, which can bring, if they are resolved, they will bring in the cost benefit back to the consumers. Whether it is manpower, whether it is innovative solutions, whether it is looking at new business models, all decks are on the table. It's possible. It can definitely be done. We have seen in Bangalore, water is such a big problem, and every housing society which has gone for digital meters, they see right sizing of not only right sizing of water bills, but also reduction in water bills.
But would you say they're similar? I think the consensus I'm getting here is like 30-40% reduction in maintenance bills if things are done right.
Well, I'll not be so optimistic. I'll say, but 20% is possible because these new technologies also come with the additional cost, which are sometimes hidden, not up to the in front of you. It adds to the layer as well, but definitely 20% is possible.
I was basically hoping, given how optimistic Vishesh is as a person, he'll give me a number like 60-70% just to enthuse people there.
No, that's a different story.
A lot depends on the design part also. I think the way you design your building, that is of paramount importance.
Fair point. Vishesh, from a customer perspective, what will it take for a customer to really feel that he's a king when he's buying a home from a 360-degree perspective, according to you?
Yeah, so we visited this problem about 2 years back in Prestige, right? And what we realized is that our approach to how we deal with the customer needs to change. Somewhere earlier we were talking about, the support cycle and then the facility management. Typically what happens is that we deal with the customer during pre-sales, sales, and then, in most of the cases, they are left to their own ends. So we very actively decided that our approach to customer needs to change. We need to handhold the customer throughout the cycle through which they are supposed to be with us. So what we started is a total experience program, which is a 3-year journey in itself. First year we focused on how do we bring in, the basic tenets were bring in transparency, build the trust, and whatever possible within the legal remits, you please don't make customer to come to you. Make it available to them through the digital tools like the app or the customer portal, or if they want to reach out, bring an omni-channel approach to the whole thing, right? So the first year we delivered from a pre-sales and sales perspective, where we are owning the relationship directly with the customer, whether they are coming through channel partners, through referrals, or anywhere else, right? Our second year is focused on the 4-year journey that the customer has after the sales cycle, where they are actually the construction is happening, and they need to be made aware about the demands, the construction cycle, what are their rights, possibly we are holding an event, so we want to invite them as well. The collections need to happen on time. So it is focused on that. Solving their problems which they may face, and then do the snag list and hand over to them, and then the facility management kickstarts, which is a year 3 plan. I think that whole holistic approach to customer is the one take that we are bringing into the industry, and I believe that while it will add to the industry overall as well, this focus will shift in that sense.
Govind, what's the one terrible part of the entire chain that can get transformed in the next 5 years?
I believe I would love to address the point around the post-sales experiences only, because pre-sales part of the journey, one thing that I know working with the real estate developers also, that we are all proactive, right? Ghar kharido, till the time ghar na kharido. After that, as so many consumer customers that I would have interacted with, I somehow definitely feel disheartened, where the POC changes, then you do not know whom to go for fixing the issues. The same kind of aggression that was there before you bought the home suddenly goes out of the picture. And somewhere I definitely see there's a great opportunity for the real estate developer into these experiences. If nothing, if you're not doing much, I don't see a value chain. Simple. I keep interacting with so many developers, asking them. We are working on so much of marketing and the data points. Once the customers is yours, now with the monies that they are making in the current time, the probability of them reinvesting into a smaller ticket size, different asset classes, and them being your customers once again in different channels is going to be so high. Why aren't you keeping a tab? Like she said that, as an app, he said that, okay, there has to be an update given. He loves the experience. I could see that he's a happy customer in Pune, whoever is the developer, right? So the conversation around keeping the track with the customer post, also making sure certain data points which can help them, engage with the brand better. At the same time, the brand understanding their customer better. The net ROI on this particular part of the technology investment is going to be so heavy. I'll just go to a normal example. There's a real estate development that we know sells at around 8 crore rupee a piece, a home. The customer gatekeeping experiences is a third party. Now the real estate developers are targeting that customer for their new 8 crore project, and all they're doing is using this particular app to market. My question to all the developers is selling an 8 crore rupee home. Take the gatekeeping experiences into your hand. How big a task is that? And more importantly, one customer eventually buys again, right? The whole cost of technology will be recovered. Why are we not having this long-term view? Why we are always thinking short, right? So that's one place where experience the customer gets happy. Developers sees a lot of value when they think long-term with just handing the post experiences a little bit. I'm not saying the whole facility piece has to be managed, but having a technology layer is a great help.
Deveshri, when he spoke about post sales, it gave me a very popular analogy that the relationship between a builder and a buyer is a relationship between Ranbir Kapoor and his actresses in Bachna Hai Hasino. He chases the actresses, chases them. Once he gets them, then he ignores them.
Yeah.
So the same thing the builder does. He chases them till the time he does the sale. The moment booking hua, then screw you. Away from this post-sales part, any particular component that you see that needs to change a lot from the ecosystem perspective that you would be bullish on for 2030?
Absolutely. Only one point. I want the customers to be more open to technology. We have discussed enough about what industry has to do for the customers or to bring in more technology to enable everything. But there is one thing that is missing is customer not being very open to technology. They are open when it comes to banking. They were not. If you remember good old days, nobody was comfortable. Nobody was ready to trust anybody with their money. They weren't comfortable with online shopping as well. But see how beautifully everything has turned out today.
Drastically.
When it comes to home buying, customers are not open to technologies. Thank you so much. Customers are not open to it is what I see. So I think while everything we'll discuss and we'll build and we'll try to give it to customers, but unless they are comfortable, I often use this remark that, even if you have smart locks, people will only be comfortable when they have physical key in their pockets. They will only feel safe then. Even if you make AI chatbots or whatever, they would still want to have their queries addressed by a human being. They want to see a security guard at the gate. Just AI-enabled CCTV won't really help. So I'm saying some of these things, because a lot of these things are happening in the industry, because that is what customer is also looking forward to.
But
So
Deveshri, I will ask you a question, counter question. India right now is on the verge of a largest disruption that we have done. Amazon and everybody kept thinking that it's e-commerce. We have really redefined the whole ecosystem with the quick commerce, right? And then comes the dialogue that, hey, the population density of India is helping it happen. Anywhere else would have failed. But at the start, be it Blinkit, which was Grow4, everybody was criticized. In the similar, and then suddenly I personally, that the base of the customers that has suddenly increased for them It is mind-blowing, right? So the same people who used to go down and buy, again my dad, I'll quote, go down, buy, come back, he'll have a leisure time, like I did something after he retired. Now he's also sitting at home, chilling at home and ordering, right? So if that change can happen, why would we say that, these are the same customers at the end of the day deciding?
No, Govind, it's fact, no? It's not that it's not changing.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the speed at which
Of
it is
course.
changing.
No, I think we have to take a lot of hit for that as well, Deveshri, because see, when did e-commerce really kick off? 2012, right? When Flipkart was already in the market for 2 years, but it kicked off only when Amazon came into the fray, and Amazon offered an experience which basically made it customer feel very safe about it, and others had to follow that experience because that became the gold standard, right? We are still some distance away, and that's why the customer experience, the total experience program that I spoke about, consistency and trust. The customer can come from any channel. He may be talking to a bot, but there should be no information asymmetry, right? And then they should feel that they are getting the premium service. Their answer should be responded to as soon as possible. So we have to think about this from an ecosystem perspective that, okay, the CRM guy on the phone should have the same information, possibly which the engineering team has to. So I have to build that link then. I'm sorry, but I think real estate has failed on that count. And that's exactly when I speak about enterprise IT. We are not talking about integrated systems. There is such a fear in the real estate industry about deploying different technologies because the fear is they will not talk to each other, right? Which is right. And why is that fear? Because the right people were not at the helm of the job. Technologists were possibly not driving technology. There was somebody in finance, somebody from CRM who grew up to handle technologies. It has not happened in the proper manner.
Just 10 seconds. So completely with you. The onus is on us, 200%. All I'm saying is just a little bit of openness from a customer's end can act as a catalyst. That's all.
I in fact often think that technology in real estate will become more massy if we have either some really sensational personality who does it, or we do some sensational product, that disrupts things. We probably need something that like an Elon Musk product or a Ashish Grover type person to get things going. Ashish,
Right.
so aapka ek solution that you think you'll be most optimistic on for 2030?
So I believe, I am a process guy to be honest. So I believe it's a mature process with the right adoption of technology and transparent communication to the customer or within the organization will give you that success.
Okay.
That is missing as of now.
Ashok.
I think more transparency is required and probably more proactive communication from the builder side is required. The way you connect to a customer, that is the gap basically. So talking about bots, we're talking about apps, right? So when we hit on the app, the kind of bots we have, sorry to say, quality is pathetic in most of the cases, right?
It is.
And you don't get the kind of experience what you're looking for, right? You are, let's say, raising a pain point. We are happy you are here. The first line you got turned up.
This is technology problem.
I'm completely pissed off. I'm on the job. I'm there to lodge a issue. We are happy you are here. You are put off. You switch off the app. You have to come out of it. So some sort of customization is required over there.
Got it. We've got 3 minutes before we close. One question which I should address is on cybersecurity. Is that a big opportunity, big gap? Can it be handled? I'll start with you, Vishesh. 1 minute each.
I think real estate really needs to think about cybersecurity from the ground up. We were speaking about data leakages earlier, and trust me, there are so many gaping holes everywhere around just because the data silos exist. Cybersecurity, data security, information security is a heavy investment area. And at Prestige, that's one of the key pillars for me.
Your view on a rating of 1 to 10, where are we on cybersecurity?
I said it in the middle as well, right? Just above agriculture. So one, absolutely one.
Govind, you, what's the rating we are currently on? Where will we be 2030?
We are in minus. Okay. I'll be honest. We are in minus. 2030, see, now that you have given a food for thought that we need an Elon Musk or a Sneer to be made out of. So find somebody who can really speak on these topics this way. But we really need a larger awareness, and more that I engage, I realize that these topics are not even being discussed at multiple places. The big companies are really doing it absolutely fine, and they're represented by the right set of people as our panelists here. But the most of the level, this representation on the table from the quantity side of the developer is not even 2 to 3% who are really doing it right. Absolutely. The 97% of the customers, which would contribute to around 80% odd sales, or let's say 75% odd sales today, they are not being responsible in this space. It's not about responsibility. Intent will only come when there's awareness. And the awareness will only come when there is a real realization that, okay, this will really help us all do well.
Okay. Ashish.
Everybody is using competitors' data. Whose data it is? As he said, it's a minus. So there is no acknowledgement, there is no sense of responsibility. So using the competitors' data is a practice. When it's a practice, it's not going to use any security.
Data is available publicly, that is fine to use, I think.
No. Publicly is a different. Public data of a private individual. That's where I think the gap is.
Public data not in an illegal way.
But आपका rating क्या होगा इसके लिए?
So I think obviously we are at the bottom of the pyramid, but point is that if we compare...
How much bottom? Like he gave 1, he gave minus, he gave minus. आपका minus होगा या 1 होगा?
2-3 types, not more than that.
Okay, so basically you are the highest scorer so far.
but only point is, thankfully if we compare with other industry, let's say if we compare with like industry like BFSI, the data requirement itself, in our case, we are not much at a risk compared to segments like BFSI. So risk factor is not that much. So
I think we are underrating. We are underrating. BFSI definitely is in that, but please think about the kind of data that you deal for a customer. Ideally, it will not be any lesser than BFSI. You are dealing with their financial data, you are dealing with their regulatory data, you are dealing with so many other things. I think it will not be any less.
Okay, Deveshri, where are you now? What's your score?
So if the question is, are we covered from technology ground in the cyberspace? We are there. We are definitely not at the bottom, because most of the solutions that we are using in the industry, they are all secure by design. There's definitely a good score there. But if you are asking me if industry is cyber safe, despite having secure systems, then probably the score is very low. Cyber, the onus is on the human, not actually on the technologies. Technologies are there, they are safe. In fact, a lot of encryption methods and a lot of maskings and even privacy laws, everything is there. Are we adopting them appropriately is the question, which is where we score really, really low. And there's another reason also there. It's not about, because we need a lot of flexibility. And the moment we have systems which come with a lot of discipline, that flexibility goes for a toss, and that is where we stop.
That flexibility is the risk. That flexibility. I'll ask you a simple question. How many processes in your company are on Excel sheet?
Yeah, see, that is where I'm coming to. Nobody can say that they don't have anything on Excel for sure. Whatever percentage.
That's exactly
that
my
may
point. So the risk is high.
It is, no? But one example I'll tell you. See, recently, because we were working on some use case, the swimming pools, okay? Yeah. And we were trying to have some AI-enabled surveillance there, but you have to protect the privacy also. So you have to pixelate the face of the person. If the person is drowning, you have pixelated the face. You can't really make out the expression, and hence you can't take the safety measure in time. Okay. So it needs to, there has to be we have to strike that balance between the, privacy.
This one was a great insight. I never visualized it in this manner.
So what's the score, aapka?
Like I said, technology hai to over 5, human hai to below 5.
So below 5 is what? 2, 3, 1, minus?
Come on, Vishal, you got to have a number, right?
So basically, I was keen to know whether are you higher than Ashok or Ashok is the highest with 2. That was my point.
I'm with Ashok.
You're with Ashok there. Okay. One question that I've been asked to myself, procurement. Is that a big leakage gap in construction, which can be addressed by technology?
Yes, it is.
Procurement is a leakage gap everywhere in every industry.
How big is the gap in how much is the leakage in procurement in your view at industry level?
It will be difficult to put some number to it, but I think there are huge gaps, especially in real estate we are talking about. In construction industry, in other segment, things have evolved much compared to real estate, because see, in real estate there are a lot of still local procurement, local buying, sometimes even procurement at a very small level. So there you don't have enough control. Lot of I will, without going this in this, lot of transaction is happening in cash. So obviously, whenever cash is there, there will be gaps. So compared to other infrastructure industry, real estate is still lagging behind in procurement also.
But in terms of the timing to ensure that you order it well in just at the right time, in a way, just in time, is that a big opportunity? Have we evolved quite a lot there?
There is a big opportunity to create that, because from technology perspective, we have that technology to identify. It's only the adoption of that processes and technology. Once the end user starts using that particular software or a tool, then you will have a just-in-time presented in a dashboard report everywhere.
Okay, so but the evolution has begun in your view, or are we not?
We have started using it. I mean, I had implemented it.
But just in time is actually, it's a dream for construction industry that you can have for auto industry, where all your vendors are residing in 30-kilometer radius. Here we are talking about cement, steels, right? You are getting cement or steel from, let's say, far-fetched places because you are negotiating at a bulk level. You cannot have jet.
You can't have. Okay, Vishesh.
No, so there are leakages. If you want to put a number, my guess is easily 6 to 7% at an overall level, which can be salvaged by right use of technology, by linking it with the construction cycles, just in time and all that. There will be challenges, and it will go through its own pain cycle as well. We have started thinking in that direction as well, that how we can adopt these technologies and start deploying them. So let's see how it goes. That's our upcoming roadmap.
Okay, Govind, that's the last question for you.
Okay, so I will take a different point of view just to give you a little bit of an insight. How big a problem has been, if you have to just look at it, observe these two companies of this space in procurement, Infra.Market of business, and then there's Moglic's Zetwork. What scale with which they have really grown will put out the value chain. What have they really done? So there's manufacturer, wholesaler, trader, and then the retailer, and that's a purchase. They have actually taken all these ecosystem in between away. First, efficiency, you have the efficiency on the terms of cost. The second, mobility, right? How fast you are able to get products to your side. The logistics planning can happen in a much better manner. And both these companies that I quoted now today are doing almost 30,000 crore top line GMVs, okay, that they call as revenue as well. This itself gives you an understanding that what was the market, and both the companies are only 7 to 8 years old. Of business and Infra.Market. They solve for this particular problem to a certain extent on the other side. On the developer side, how that can be leveraged in a better manner is a different value chain altogether. But was there a leakage? Yes. On the cost side, they've already optimized for it to a larger extent. That benefit is being passed on to the buyer as well and to them as well. But the middle layer is already removed there, right, into the cycle. And that's where this is only going to get better and better with time, and where the technology plugins from the developer end also starts connecting with their demands. They are able to predict what is the demand in a particular area, planning the logistics around it. I believe those are the value chains and differences we will see in the future.
But some of the problem we are living it because the reason being you are not able to pay to your vendors. Sometimes you are choosing suboptimal vendors because you are not able to pay on time. Credit part is a key reason, otherwise you are right.
Yeah. Okay, on that note, we'll end this edition of Unravel. I think from the time we first began this conversation to now concluding it, I can see that while currently real estate is at the bottom, I think there is some light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see some optimism, especially in Vishesh. He seems the most optimistic in this regard. And yeah, probably we have the session 1 year ahead. A lot of progress is made, but thank you all for coming on the first episode of Unravel. And up next will be the next episode where we'll be talking another segment of Unravel. That will be construction in real estate.